everybody. We are back. You're listening to Santa Cruz's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. It's the Gazette Radio Hour. It's the radio digest version of the Santa Clarita Gazette and free classifieds. I'm Doug.
I'm John, and we're honored.
I'm always
honored. We're sending attention because we're graced by the presence of a city councilman, Doug.
Cool. Which one?
Mr. Tim Ben Boyson is our special guest today.
Tim Ben, are you there?
I am, and it's really a pleasure to talk to you, John and Doug. How are you guys today?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Good.
Barely.
And he got the order right. It was John and Doug.
Hey. It's actually Doug and John, Tim Ben.
I'm sorry, Doug and John, John and Doug. We're all equals here, you know. We're all just citizens, you know.
All right. Well, I'm really glad we have you on, Councilman Boyson. We have an awful lot to talk to you about. There's so many issues. We're going to jump around, so please kind of bear with us a little bit.
Okay.
The billboards. We just had Ed Bernstein on. We were talking about the billboards. Brought up a good point. He goes, the end result, it was okay. The process is a little bit flawed. You were amazing the other night. I watched a little bit of it on TV.
Yes. Very detailed oriented.
What did you think overall of the process?
Well, I think that the process is something that is, that it takes a long time sometimes, and it takes a lot of attention. And, of course, the process is not finished yet. That we've only done the first reading, and then all of the changes that were put in verbally will now go to staff, and the staff will review the tape and their notes and everything that was instructed and whatever Metro would have agreed to, and then they will put all that in a document in writing so that there's no misunderstanding. And then when that document is finished, it'll go to what's called the second reading.
Right.
Now, at the second reading, if they look at something and say, oh, no, that's not right, and something needs to be changed, then it becomes the first reading again, and then it does that as many times as it needs to until the document is accepted as it's written.
Hey, Councilman.
So there were a lot of changes put into the document.
Councilman, I have a question on the procedure, and this is just curiosity on my part. If the vote would have been 2-2, what would the tiebreaker have been?
There would be no tiebreaker.
Then what would have happened?
Arm wrestle.
It would have failed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. No arm wrestling?
No arm wrestling.
UFC on a pay-per-view. That would have been good.
Council, we're talking to Tim Ben Boyson, City Councilman. My other question is, Laureen West recused herself from the hearing, or at the City Council meeting for this particular item. So my question is, did she recuse herself from the executive hearings?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she recused herself. I assume that you're talking about closed session.
Yes.
Yes, of course. She recused herself in closed session and at the meeting.
Yeah. See, I always like that because I like it when people think that there's an issue that they may be. You want to avoid any appearance of impropriety, and I like that
conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest. It makes sense. Okay. Enough billboards. I'm done with that. I could actually ask you what you want to talk about, Councilman, but
it's our show.
Yeah, good point. Okay. This is the first time that you've been an incumbent. You're not up for re-election, but you're a sitting board member. Are you enjoying the election? Are you having a good time watching it?
Well, it's more fun to be an observer than it is to be out there having to do as much work as you have to do to try to get elected. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's with 13 people. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but have you been paying attention to any of the forums?
Yes, I have seen some of the forums, and they've been very interesting.
Oh, really? Nice. Okay, well, we will take that hint and move along.
Go ahead.
Did you have another question?
Yes.
Sure.
Well, yeah, we're quickly changing the
We're
subject.
not used to answering we're not used to you answering a question that quickly, so you kind of stumped us. So looking back, if you were back in the race this time, if you were running again as a challenger, what issue this time around would you be pushing or focusing on for your campaign?
What issues are important? If I were in the campaign, I think that the biggest number one issue right now is the billboard issue, and that's a judgment call. The billboard issue is a judgment call because we are removing billboards from one part of town and putting up billboards in another part of town. So, there's two schools of thought. If the people live next to or have property next to existing billboards, they would, of course, want them gone because, most people consider it a blight, and I do too. And, however, the people who you're putting the billboards near, they're, of course, not so happy. And so you have to kind of weigh the two issues there and determine what do you think is the better thing for the people. And then the secondary issue to that, of course, is the deal. If you decide to go through with the deal, then you want to make sure you get the best deal that you can for the people. So billboards is still an issue. It's not a resolved issue, and so that's like a really important one. I think that the chloride tax, the $350 million that the citizens and businesses of Santa Clarita are going to have to pay to remove chloride is still a huge issue, and it hasn't been in the press in the last few weeks, but it continues to be out there because they are going through the design phase, and although the sanitation district is challenging the state on saying that they think the state should pay for it.
I heard that.
Yeah, I think that really the question that we need to keep asking, and what I've been continuing to fight, is to try to make sure that we could get this decision reversed. And there's a basin plan that is reviewed every 5 years, and this is the year that it's being reviewed. And when I was in Sacramento and talking to one of the members of the State Water Quality Control Board, she indicated that that would definitely be the thing that we would want to do, is to appeal the TMDL in the basin plan. And we left in parting a nice woman, and she said, I hope to see you up in Sacramento again. I expect to see you. And I asked her straight up, would I have the opportunity someday, if we were to appeal that, to stand in front of the entire the entire state Water Quality Control Board? And she said, yes, of course. So I look forward to that continued fight because, as I have contended so many times, that this simply is not based on science.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no science that says that level of 100 milligrams is injurious to crops downstream.
Hey, Councilman, we're up against a break. Are you able to hold on over the break and spend a few more minutes with us?
Sure.
Okay.
Great. All right, we've been listening listening and talking. It's the same thing. Councilman Tim Van Boysen on the Gazette Radio Hour, Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
When